Thank you so much for joining me today, Logan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, blessed. The weather outside's not amazing, but I'm breathing, I'm living, so I'm having a great day.
What made you get into playing football?
It's actually kind of funny you say that because, I just finished up my football career, but when I posted about it, I said I was actually, I grew up a baseball guy, and I loved baseball my entire young life. My grandfather pitched for the Cubs, and when I was in 8th grade, I actually tore my patellar tendon, and I couldn't be a catcher anymore, and that's what I did my entire life. And all my buddies were like, hey, maybe you should get into football. So I got into football in 8th grade. I was pretty late to it. I played cornerback, and I think it just stuck with me, and I loved it. And I loved the camaraderie with my brothers. I loved meeting new people, and the challenges football brought were just amazing because I think you can use them towards life itself. And so it kind of just stuck, and the pieces kind of fell where they were supposed to. So, yeah.
You being from Tennessee, what made you choose to play football here at the University of Dayton?
Well, so whenever I was getting recruited, at first, kind of like any other person who's getting recruited, you feel every time you get an offer or get a coach reach out to you, you feel just like that sense of joy that, that, all right, I got this. So I really enjoyed the recruitment process, maybe a little bit too much, because I received, I think, 7 Division I offers, and some of them were bigger than Dayton. And I even got like a couple preferred walk-ons from MAC schools, and then like University of Birmingham, Alabama, UAB. And I think I was just kind of thinking I want to go to the biggest school possible, which don't do that. If you're a recruit, don't do that. And so I have a funny story. I actually was going to reach out to the guy who recruited me here, Mark Ewald, amazing guy, and let him know that I was, not going to commit here. And I was in a bowling alley with my friends, and he called me that same night and like randomly convinced me to get on a Zoom call, right? And so I get on the Zoom call, and he's like, hey, I want your family to go on. I want you guys to, talk to us about Dayton and then get a visit. So I ended up coming up here visiting and meeting some of my friends, and I was like, this is so much like my high school, the family aspect, just the guys on this team kind of felt like the right place for me. And so honestly, it was the family feel, and it was everything they promised about the community, and everything that they said was going to be here was here. So it was kind of just the best decision for me.
What does a typical practice as well as a game day look like for you?
Oh, let's see. Practice first. So practice is kind of funny because during the season, you have your classes and stuff. We have meetings or workouts during the day, but I actually have this, I did this thing where before practice, I would drive over to the Quick Trip next to UD Arena, next to the baseball stadium, and I would get a different energy drink every day, and I would film my friends like a review on it. I know that's not the healthiest thing ever. You shouldn't be drinking energy drinks before practice, but so I would get to campus. Me and Gideon Lampron, a guy I know you talk to, every day before practice, we'd get in the hot tubs. We always would joke about it and say that was the best part of our day, getting in the hot tubs and relaxing. So right when you get there, you do that. And then we would get all of our stuff together, go get taped up from the athletics trainers. And then after that, normally we would have a special teams meeting. We'd go down there, talk about the special teams for the day, talk about the plan for the week. And then we'd hit the practice field. And honestly, people always talk about how practices or sports in general can be escape from like an everyday life, from like life going on around you. And I would say that's so true. I feel like, my favorite part of the day every day would just be practicing with my guys, and you kind of forget where you were and you just enjoy the moment with your friends. And it was just kind of incredible.
And then what's a typical game day look like for you?
Game day. So wake up, we would have like a 20-minute walk through, just kind of go over like special things, not necessarily things in our game plan, but just things that might come up throughout the game. And just to be prepared, because Dayton's always above and beyond about being prepared about every little thing. And then from there, we'd walk up and do breakfast, eat breakfast with the whole team, kind of our last chance to wind down and just relax. And then after that, it's kind of go time. So you show up to the stadium from anywhere from like 10 to 11 o'clock. You get there, everyone, it's kind of funny because in practice, I play music. I was the guy who plays music on the loudspeaker in the locker room just because it's practice. But in game day, everyone has their own headphones on. Everyone's listening to their own music. And then, so everyone's kind of getting taped up, getting in their zone and listening to I listen to like the same music every time. So it's definitely a mix of like letting everyone be who they are, but also slowly coming up to everyone, getting everyone, revved up. And so after that, we all get together with the coaches. We go over the game plan. They get us fired up. We have our last, speech with Coach Andrews, and then we do our prayer and get ready to play a game.
When I interviewed Gideon, he had some very fascinating rituals. Do you have any rituals of your own?
Rituals, I wouldn't say like rituals. I would say more or less like I try to kind of emulate the same things. Like I would always love playing my favorite Christian song. I'd always love playing my favorite rap song and my favorite rock song. But I didn't have like a specific order I would have to do things in. We have a ritual with our team, with our position group, I guess, with the linebackers. Every Thursday night, we would go to UDF and get a milkshake all together. And I don't know, we always looked forward to that, and it was amazing. It's kind of sad because like last week when we didn't have a game, or some of us were graduated, we were like, can we go one last time? And that was really special. So I wouldn't say I really have any crazy rituals. I would just say I do kind of like being similar in a way, just because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But nothing crazy, no.
Being a senior on the team, how have you shown your leadership on and off the field towards your teammates?
One of the biggest things leadership-wise that I was able to do this year was, some of those freshmen and some of those sophomores, they don't really understand what it's like and how to get through hard times, because being a college athlete, you're going to be going through hard times all the time, and things are more than likely not going to go your way. And, when the breaks do go your way, that's when you kind of take advantage of it. But just kind of having perspective. I mean, my career wasn't easy, in any sense. There was a lot of obstacles I had to go through and a lot of adversity, but, kind of creating I try to tell the guys, create a toolbox. And so for a lot of them, I would tell them, hey, if you ever go through a hard time, go home and write it out and look at it for what it is, and, just create some perspective on the situation. And it really helps you be able to enjoy it more, because my thing was, you either have two options. If something doesn't go your way during the season, you show up and you can sulk about it, and that will affect you negatively. That'll affect the guys around you negatively, and it really does nothing good for you. So, the better option, I think, would be to show up with a good attitude, have fun, realize you're playing a game, and that kind of, people feed off that. And then you start to kind of fall in love with that, and that, starts to be your new thing. So that was definitely kind of how I tried to be a leader, was just show up with a great attitude and have fun, and just make every day, make someone's day better, or just make practice fun. And I think it worked, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
I saw that you have your own merchandise. Tell me, what's that like, and how has it helped you as a person?
I would say with my own merchandise, I would say definitely it's a little bit different when you're playing at Dayton in a way, just to be honest. I loved it because it gave my family and loved ones an opportunity to get some merch with my stuff on it, and if they ever wanted to. And it's not like we're at Alabama or Tennessee or a big school where you're going to have thousands of random people buying your merch, but just the opportunity to get anything off of it, and like I said, your family, I think, is a blessing in disguise, because the people who came before me didn't have that opportunity at all. So I would say that was awesome, and I'm glad I can put that out there, and I'm really excited to see how that grows in the coming years.
How would you describe the culture of the team, from having Coach Rick Chamberlain to now Trevor Andrews? What has that been like?
I think they were both incredible. I think both cultures were amazing. I think I'm in a unique position because I was able to be in both. And but I can't really talk as much about Chambos because I was a lot younger and I didn't understand things as much. But I'll definitely say that with Coach Andrews' staff, the first thing when they wanted to come in, what they really wanted us to know is hey, you guys put in as much work as anyone else in the entire country, and we want to reward you for that. So I remember our first ever team meeting, he showed up and got us all shoes. And I don't know, that was huge, for all of us. We loved that. But ever since then, slowly, he would just continue to bring on things hey, we would just be getting things that we felt like we always, earned through our work, but it was just second nature. And the culture itself is incredible. I mean, I joke with my dad all the time. We kind of talk about it. He's like, man, is there anyone on the team you don't get along with? And I genuinely say no. It is such a family atmosphere. And I think it's because everyone who plays football at Dayton here does it for the love of the game. It's our choice. We decided to come here we wanted to play here, and we kind of accepted that for what it is. And it's absolutely incredible. It's the biggest blessing of my life. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And, I've met my brothers for life. I've met friends for a lifetime, and memories that I'll never, ever be able to top. But yeah, it's an incredible culture.
You're part of UD's Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and you were actually a vice president. Tell me what that program's all about and how has it helped you to become the person you are today?
I got into SAC whenever I was a sophomore. Derek Willits, one of the best guys I've ever met before me, was in SAC. He was actually the president. And I just, I was always looking for stuff to kind of help me get through college and help me, in the long run when it came to looking back on like my resume and stuff, like extra things I could do. So I reached out to Crystal Warren, who leads SAC. She's awesome. And I was able to join it just as a normal member, right? And I just kind of remember like learning about things that I never thought of as a student athlete and kind of how all the processes work and like how we needed a voice on campus. So slowly, I really wouldn't say I did anything out of the ordinary, but I just kind of was myself, and I love to do things like above and beyond and like try to go out and do more. And so I kind of went up to Crystal about doing some other things, like I did a presentation on like mental health, and so slowly over time I kind of built those things, and I was able to earn more roles. Last year I was the social person for SAC with CC Williams, able to kind of promote the social side, get everyone together, get all the athletes away from their sports to do something fun. And so we also did Rudy's, which was incredible. But, with the opportunity to be vice president and then president this year, I think SAC has been wonderful. I mean, the amount of kids I've had on my team come up and ask me how to get involved with SAC has been awesome, because it teaches you about, not only like the legislation and the rules that are changing in our sports, because holy crap, we were in the biggest, break in rules in our sports of all time with the transfer portal and everything else going on. So it's been super important to learn about how all these things happen, but also know that as student athletes, I feel like we should have the main voice and say about what's going on in our sports and the NCAA. So being on SAC has been just another thing at Dayton that I've just loved and, been really fortunate to be a part of and learn from. So it's been awesome. And I give credit to Crystal Warren and the people before me who were able to help me. So,
and speaking of Rudy's, last year, you and CC were the hosts of that. Tell me what that experience was like for you.
Nerve-wracking, I would say. There was so much behind the scenes going on with like even getting like the food ready, getting the theme, like the colors of the stringers on top, and like just everything involved. I mean, I remember standing on that stage before and I was super nervous, and normally I wouldn't get nervous for those things, but this was different. This was the most people I think I ever spoke in front of. And so it definitely was a lot of work, and it's really cool to see it kind of go into, like be completed, because the last couple of years I was just a normal spectator watching that. Like you don't really understand how much the MCs do and how much they have to get ready for. But, the best thing about it was being able to see all the awards being given out to people and just kind of celebrating athletes. I don't know how many other schools do a Rudy's type event every year, but, you walk into UD Arena and you see everything and you hear the music and, you're eating the food and everyone's all dressed up. It's a special event, and I really think it's one of my favorite parts about being an athlete here, for sure.
You were just named the AJ Cohen Award. Tell me what that was all about, who he was, and what that means to you.
Well, I apologize to, anyone who knows more about AJ Cohen, but I didn't get to learn enough about AJ Cohen as I probably should. But he was a wide receiver for Dayton that was known for leaving like a lasting impact on the program and the people around him. And so whenever I won the award, one of my best friends, Ty Stilsky, actually got to go up and give me the award, which was just an awesome moment. But the award kind of talks about being 2 times as humble, smiling twice as much, and giving others twice as much. So, in a night that was full of football awards, I think that it was really special to me to just know that I was able to, leave a lasting impact on all my teammates around me. But one thing like that I would say about it is like, I don't think I really tried. That wasn't in my mind. I wasn't going in trying to win that award or be anything special. It's just, I think the way the program was set up and the way that like I enjoyed it, I was just able to be myself every day. And so I didn't even really notice it. I was just being myself, enjoying, the blessings that I had, which was going to practice with all these wonderful teammates. So, like I said, sometimes breaks go your way and I was able to receive that award. But I think either way, I would have treated everyone like that and acted like that, because I think when you're a Flyer, that's what you should do. And I think that's an important part about being an athlete.
Tell me how you've been able to balance academics and football here at UD.
Academics and football, it's tough. It's really tough being an athlete. But the advice I would give people is I wasn't always able to balance it. My freshman year, I think I really struggled with getting my work done on time, just keeping up with both of those and not letting one leak into the other, because I think that's one of the big things is once you struggle with one, if you let it sink into the other, that's when it becomes a problem. So Vera Gomes does a fantastic job with helping us out. We actually talked about the other day, we had 0 ineligible players on the football team this last semester, and to my coach, who's been at a million other places, this was the first time that's ever happened. Just 0 guys ineligible. But definitely, I would say keeping a checklist of like what you have to do. Canvas does a good job of kind of letting you know what you have to do, but just staying on top of your work. I think once you get in the routine of it, and once you can figure out something that works for you, it's actually a lot easier than high school, I think, because you have so much more time to do these things. So I think balancing school is just staying on top of your work and keeping a checklist. And then when it comes to football, I think, like I said earlier, if you can keep your academics in check, you won't stress out about not having something done when you have practice, or like knowing that when you get back home from practice, you're going to be stumped with work. So it definitely goes both ways, but we have so much help, so much people in this building that will help you with all those things and keeping you on track with them. So it really takes everyone.
What have you learned from the coaches as well as your teammates from the Flyer football program?
Man, I could go on about this for hours. I would say one of the things that you can learn from this program and the people around it is that, this might sound a little harsh, but like no one's coming to save you in the end. So like, I think really, if you can look in the mirror, one of my favorite quotes is "The Man in the Arena" by Teddy Roosevelt, and also there's another quote called "The Man in the Mirror," and it basically is saying that like the outside noise shouldn't matter, and only thing that should matter is that if you look in the mirror every day, that you like what you see and that you feel grateful for what you're doing, because in the end, it's up to you to decide what you want and how you want to go about things. So I think what they've taught me is that hard work, showing up on time, being nice to others, and honestly, I would say the biggest thing is like just doing the best you can and knowing that that's all you can do is like one of the most important aspects of being a football player in life that I've learned through my coaches. And I think, going into every practice with that mindset and having no regrets about how much you tried and all the effort you put in is the biggest thing I've been able to take away. So hopefully when I'm grown up and in the adult world, I can, do those things and give it my best and know that that's all I can do, and whatever happens, happens. But knowing that I gave my best, that's all you should worry about.
How do you think the UD football program can help incoming athletes strive with who they want to become?
Well, I think the biggest thing is letting them know that, like, yes, we want you to be a really good football player, and obviously we want you to succeed in your athletic career. But the biggest thing they want is for you to become a better man when you get here and when you leave. So, using your resources. So I think, like we just talked about academics, like with Vera, like helping them come in and knowing that, hey, like we have you. Like when it comes to academics, like it's going to be hard at first, but we're going to help you out with all these things. But also just like having an open door policy, like knowing that football and the team itself, like you're a family. And so if you're struggling with something off the field or even with stuff on the field, you can always go into the coach's office and like tell them, hey, like this is going on, and they'll help you out and they'll give you your honest opinion, because I think the best feedback is honest feedback. And they do a great job with that. And I think it's only going to get better as they learn, as well as like the kids come in, because they're new here too. So I think that'll be really big. And, Dayton always recruits and gets kids that are great and come from great places. And, it's not too hard to to coach those kids when they come in because they're already great people. So yeah.
Who do you credit for supporting you in your football journey?
My parents, 100%. I would say, like, you know, my mom and dad are two of the most important people in the world to me. And, you know, just to see how close I've gotten with them over my football career. I mean, they've came up to every game. We made a joke the other day that, you know, my dad might be more sad about my career ending than I am, because he's going to miss coming up here and going to all these restaurants and spending time in Dayton. But definitely them. I mean, it's a huge commitment to come play football here. And you don't really think about that as an athlete because your parents are doing a lot of things behind the scenes to be able to get you here and keep you here. So you're really, you know, just blessed. But my mom and dad are two of the most important people in my life. And even without football, that would be the same. So definitely my parents.
What makes UD football so special?
The people, you know, the people make the place. I bet if I could bring, you know, everyone involved in this program to just a random island in the ocean, it would be the same thing. Like, I would love it just as much. It's definitely the people. The people make everything here, and you know that will never change. I don't think at Dayton ever. I think Coach Andrews always tells us that, like, we are the same guys that he played here with, as in, like, just the same guys show up every day, have fun, you know, don't take things too seriously, and you know everyone knows UD football in the community. Like, anyone who's been through it's like, man, those are the best times. And so definitely just the people and how people will treat each other.
What do you think your future looks like as you wrap up your academic career here at UD? I saw that you wanted to be some type of sportscaster. Is that still a goal still on your mind?
Yes. I think that now that I'm done playing football, I think my biggest thing was, hey, let's focus on football while you're in it. And then after, that's when you focus on what you want to do. So, you know, this December, going back home, being able to talk to my parents about, hey, what do I want to do is going to be really big. I would love to get into sports broadcasting. Sports have, you know, blessed me with so much. So I would love to give back to the sports, and I also love it. But also kind of keeping my options open to, you know, I don't know. I love the team camaraderie aspect about football, and it's been so important to me. So something like the military would be something I would keep my eyes open to, knowing that that's kind of, they're kind of in the same realm of like, hey, you know, it's a camaraderie, this is a team, it's not all about you. So, you know, definitely just open to whatever God brings to me, and I'll be ready for it. These lessons I've taken away from this program will help me no matter where I go.
Well, I thank you so much for joining me here today on Flyer Overtime, Logan, and I wish you luck in your future careers.
Thank you, my man.
Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Logan, or if you want to learn more stories from Flyer athletes, links on screen.